welcome to AOSIS Insights, where we unlock knowledge to the world. I'm joined today by Professor Judah Makonye from the University of the Witwatersrand in South Africa, and editor of the book titled Innovations in Online Teaching and Learning, Case Studies of Teacher Educators from South Africa during the COVID-19 era. We are going to discuss this book's contribution to the specific scientific discourse. Prof, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Lorica, very much for inviting me to this interview.
Please share a bit about yourself and your involvement in this field of study.
I am Associate Professor of Mathematics Education at the University of Witwatersrand School of Education. I and my assistant editor, Dr. Nokulunga Ndlovu, conceptualized this research on the integration of ICT in teacher education. In particular, we noted that ICT is now part and parcel of the daily context of our students and ourselves. And we felt the time had come for us to think of how ICT could be used to enhance teaching and learning, but in general, and that of our pre-service student teachers in particular. So this book is a result of case studies that were done by a number of academics who teach different curriculum areas in teacher education in South Africa and some outside South Africa.
And what motivated your research?
Firstly, the problem is that originally, teacher educators have been used to the traditional mode of teaching, whereby they would meet their students in classrooms, they would meet their students in lecture halls, and teaching was face-to-face. And that in itself has been the mode for curriculum delivery in many universities. But suddenly, because of the COVID-19 restrictions, which required social distancing, it became impossible to carry on with face-to-face lectures. And therefore, we needed to research and to find out what is the best way we could still reach our students, still continue delivering our lectures to our student teachers wherever they were. So this is what motivated this research. For those participants, for those researchers in this book, to research their own practice on the problems, on the opportunities that they discovered when they use ICTs in their teaching, when students were away from the institutions they usually attended. So that is what motivated that book. We needed to fill that gap of how we could deliver the curriculum to our students to whom it was no longer possible to come to class.
And what is this book's contribution to online pedagogical approaches to productively use digital technologies in teaching, learning, and assessment?
before COVID-19, there were some educators who were resistant to the use of ICTs in education. They were comfortable with using face-to-face traditional teaching approaches. But on the onset of COVID, it was no longer possible. So those academics, whether they liked to use IC technologies in education or not, they were expected to use those technologies. So we know that many teacher educators had difficulties. They had many questions as to how they can use the ICT technologies. Because in most cases, we know that teachers, they want to teach the way they were taught by their teachers before. So these academics, they were never taught using ICT technologies. They were used to face-to-face approaches. But now, this was a totally new situation where they had now to innovate in order to survive. There was just only one way to survive, using of ICT technologies, but they did not have the experience of that. And many of them were reluctant to use them because they knew that why worry about ICTs when I can still teach my students and they can do well. So suddenly, this book, therefore, is a very, very important contribution in that it answers those questions as to how do I use IC technologies to enhance my teaching and learning. Because without it, the universities and our students would have stopped teaching and learning. So this book helps the practitioners, helps the researchers as to how and why and the what of ICT integration in teacher education. It documents what others have experienced, what others have done for them to use ICT technologies in teaching, whether it could be science, whether it could be mathematics, whether it could be languages, or even ICT itself. That is what this book contributes. So in other words, other researchers can benchmark what has been done in these case studies so that they can also learn from it and apply it in their own practice. The integration of ICTs in teacher education in particular, and in the whole education spectrum in general. That is the major contribution of this book.
Thank you. So for the viewers, to publish your book with AOSIS, please download and submit the book proposal form at books.aosis.co.za. Prof, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Lorica.